channel. My name is Frey, and here on Heavenly Terp, I like to discuss topics like OnlyFans, cannabis, and festivals, but on Terpene Tuesday, like today, I like to discuss things regarding cannabis. And today's cannabis topic is ethanol extraction when regarding concentrates. So, if you're interested in learning more about that, go ahead and stick around, and if you would like to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button, and don't be afraid to hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post, which I try to post at least twice a week. Alright, let's get on into it. Okay. I am smoking diamonds, so I have a little bit of reclaim on the dabber to try to keep the diamonds on the dabber. So that'll be interesting. I like letting you hear it cook. Alright, let's get into it. Alrighty, friends. So, per usual, I have my notes. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, but it is very important to understand how your concentrates are made, and it is very important to understand the different types of extraction and the different types of ways that your concentrates are made, because this will help you determine which kinds of concentrates and which kinds of products to obtain and why. Plus, it's just good information to know, because it helps break stigmas, and it helps you be able to educate your friends and family when they see you taking out a torch and what looks like a crack pipe, that it's not a crack pipe, that it is indeed cannabis, and explaining how it became cannabis. So, first of all, ethanol extraction is a way to create a concentrate from the cannabis plant. Today, I will tell you everything you need to know about ethanol extracted products, the process, and more. So that way, you are informed and you are able to inform others if the occasion happens to arise. I have literally had to cut off family members because they literally posted on Facebook that my spouse was turning me into crack addict when it is cannabis. They just refuse to comprehend a concentrate form of it. So, chapter 1. To begin, how does ethanol extraction work? So, ethanol is a tried and true solvent that has been used for centuries to make tinctures, essential oils, and similar substances. Ethanol is a lab-grade alcohol, so it's not 99% alcohol, it's not 70% alcohol, it's lab-grade, which in modern times is still among the most commonly deployed solvents or liquid used to dissolve another substance. This is used in products from food flavorings to Rick Simpson oil. So ethanol is literally can be found in your food flavorings. So you eat it, like, it's found in a lot of things. Ethanol is something that is safe for consumption, and we'll get into that in the FDA a little bit later in the video. But lab grade means that it is safe for to be used in a laboratory for different things and experiments and purposes. So we will dive deeper into Rick Simpson oil because it's also used in Rick Simpson oil. But we will dive deeper into Rick Simpson oil in a later video. However, he did design his method around ethanol because he knew that the residual solvent in his medicinal oil would not adversely affect the consumer. He also knew that ethanol was rigorous at extracting all of the essential constituents in cannabis. So that just means that ethanol is very good at being able to extract everything while leaving behind, like, all of the beneficial parts of cannabis while leaving behind all of the unnecessary plant matter. But don't worry, we are still keeping the solvent the same. Just with new technologies and processes, we are unlocking its true potential. So, what does that mean? So that basically just means that, like, the way that we use ethanol for cannabis extraction, we are coming up with new technologies and processes in order to unlock ethanol's true potential in extracting all of the, like, beneficial parts of cannabis. However, nothing is changing about the ethanol itself. The ethanol itself is still staying the same. So I'm going to go into chapter 2, which is what are some possible dangers of ethanol extraction. Of course, I'm going to give you anything and anything I can tell you that is going to be negative on anything I am educating you on or informing you on. So that way, when people ask you, you know, and so that way you know for yourself. So some have viewed ethanol's structure as a strike against its potential as a solvent. But this has only been in recent years. Ethanol molecules have polar and nonpolar ends, making them able to bind with different kinds of molecules on either side. So what does that mean when it comes to cannabis? That means that while ethanol draws cannabinoids and terpenes out of the plants, it also brings other players along. These players are, and excuse me if I mispronounce these, I am quite toasted right now. These players are aldehydes, and I will write them right here. I'll type them out. Aldehydes, esters, ethyls, ketones, and a range of other chemicals that make up the full spectrum of beneficial compounds found in cannabis. So that basically just means that ethanol, because it's a solvent, because it's almost impossible to completely get rid of 100% of the solvent, there's always going to be something a little bit left behind. Those things that it leaves behind are chemicals that are actually beneficial compounds in cannabis as well, so it's not really that harmful for you as a consumer. Because of the dual role ethanol plays as a solvent, it is capable of extracting the whole of the plant better than any hydrocarbon or CO2. Now, this was a direct quote from the CAPNA Systems principal chemist, Erwin Sibbel. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Erwin Sibbel. So it is safe for human consumption. So even though there are small traces of those chemical compounds left behind in the final product when you're using ethanol as your extraction process, because it's safe for human consumption, it's not going to negatively affect you as a consumer. So what is the extraction? So chapter 3 is what does the extraction, or how does the extraction process work? So now that you kind of understand ethanol and the reason why we use it to extract cannabis, etc., how does the extraction process work? So at extremely cold temperatures, ethanol is very selective to extract cannabis's active ingredients while leaving the undesirable plant components such as lipids, wax, and chlorophyll untouched. So that means that, like I said before, it's taking all of the beneficial parts of cannabis and leaving behind all of the residual plant matter that you don't necessarily want. And that can also be a contributing factor if all you've ever smoked is flower. The plant matter can be a factor in your potential anxiety and paranoia when smoking cannabis. So the solubility of ethanol means that cannabinoids, terpenes, and also flavonoids are captured. Flavonoids are a lesser known class of compounds with therapeutic value that interact with the endocannabinoid system. We will dive deeper into flavonoids in a later video as well. Like, I'll give flavonoids its own video simply because flavonoids are probably one of the least talked about components of cannabis, and they are very important, especially when using concentrates. But I'll do a whole separate video on that. So the parameters of ethanol extractions mean that no dewaxing or winterization step is needed, greatly increasing processing speeds, meaning they can get more product out faster. The lower temperatures and pressures are also less. The low temperatures and pressures also mean less chance for degradation of the valuable compounds. So that just means that because it's low temperature and low pressures, you are less likely to damage things like cannabinoids and terpenes. Whenever you have high temperatures, you are going to be cooking off a lot of the terpenes, and you're going to come out with a product that has less terpenes, and it's going to be less beneficial at the end of the day. And what it means when the the no dewaxing and no winterization step is needed, so it greatly increases processing speeds. That means that they get more product out, like I said, but it also means that the product is being processed with the heat and pressure for a less period of time, which means that you're like losing less of the good benefits of the beneficial compounds of the product and of cannabis, because it's not sitting and processing for a long period of time. So what are the FDA standards when it comes to ethanol? Because I know that a lot of people kind of look at FDA as like kind of like a guideline, so I figured it'd be important to put in here. So FDA standards so the FDA classifies ethanol as generally regarded as safe, or GRAS, which is the acronym, meaning that it is safe for human consumption. As a result, it is commonly used as a food preservative and additive, found in everything from cream filling in your donut to the glass of wine you enjoy after work. So that just is telling you to not feel any type of hesitation around ethanol extracted products, because of the fact that you're literally intaking ethanol extracted products and ethanol infused products in your day-to-day life, depending on what you eat and drink. Like, it's something that is safe for human consumption. It's something that you aren't going to have an adverse reaction to simply because it's ethanol extracted. If you're having an adverse reaction to a specific cannabis product that just happens to be ethanol extracted, I would say that that's probably a result of either the terpene combination, the type of cannabinoids, or just the type of product in general that you're using, whether that be a tincture, whether that be it being too high in a THC percentage or too high in a CBD percentage, or whatever you are consuming at that point. So my overall summary of the video, to sum it all up, a cannabis extract is the excess material left over once a cannabis plant has gone through the extraction process. The excess plant matter is removed using a solvent, which is a liquid used to dissolve other substances. Ethanol is used to target the waxes, lipids, chlorophyll, and other undesirables so that all you have left over is a product containing a high concentrate of cannabinoids and terpenes. Regardless of what solvent is used, all extracts need to go through a process called purging to remove the chemicals before you can consume it. Like distillate, these come in around 70 to 90% THC, but because they do not go through a further refinement process, more cannabinoids are left intact. So that just means that with distillate unfortunately has less of the terpenes and less of the desired benefit, like desired compounds of cannabis, because of the type of extraction process it goes through, and because of the type of just purging and the whole process it goes through. Which is why a lot of the times people say to just go straight for a concentrate with a nectar collector, because of the fact that it has the less time in the processing in order to leave you with the most beneficial compounds. So that's not to say that distillate is bad. I just figured I would throw distillate in there because it's the most commonly smoked concentrate of cannabis in today's younger generations. And it's not necessarily the best. It's not necessarily giving you the cannabinoids and terpenes that you want. It's not necessarily giving you the benefits that you could be getting if you just pick up a torch. I know that sounds horrible. I'm sorry. But again, this is why I make these videos, to break the stigma and to get people to realize that it's not a bad thing to have a torch on your desk. If you're actually gaining the good benefits of your product and you're able to really benefit from those beneficial compounds. So that's pretty much it on ethanol extraction. It's just one of the extraction methods. I will be going through the other extraction methods with their own video in later weeks. But I wanted to start with ethanol because it is one of the most common that you will see. Sorry, my face just got really itchy for some reason. But it is one of the most common extraction methods that you will be seeing when you go to medical dispensaries in order to shop around for different products, simply because it is the most tried and true. Like, it is the one that is FDA approved. It is the one that has shown to be one of the best at extracting all of the compounds while also leaving behind anything that you wouldn't necessarily want. And that's not to say that there aren't better extraction methods out there. Again, we'll go over them in later weeks, but it is just to say that the extraction method of ethanol, because it's I want to call it the OG method, I wanted to go over it first because it is the OG method. So thank you so much for sticking around. If you happened to make it this far into the video, I appreciate you. And I hope that you were able to become informed on a little bit something new regarding cannabis. I enjoy making these videos for you. I enjoy doing the research and doing deep dives into cannabis research in order to make these videos for you. Again, as usual, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. And happy fucking Terpene Tuesday, babes. Mwah. Bye.